What is going on, guys and girls, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about some misconceptions in the fire service regarding junior firefighters. I want to target some of my younger audience because I know that majority of my audience is younger, little future first responders. And I wanted to reach out to you guys and maybe a video that you guys can relate to and or can help you in the future or maybe right now, because these were a lot of questions I had when I was younger that no one was really able to answer for me, that I had to figure out on my own. So stay tuned. I also just want to start out saying that just because these are the rules for my department doesn't mean these are going to be the rules for your local department. Each department has their own certain SOPs and or state protocols that they follow. Hopefully they're all written somewhere in a nice big book. So we'll go ahead and go out there and say that some departments might not even have a junior program. Junior firefighters are 16, 17-year-olds who are still legally considered a minor but not an adult, but they are a member of their volunteer department. I know the junior firefighters here are able to come out, train, help maintenance equipment, learn new stuff. I mean, they're basically a part of our department, but whenever it comes down to running calls or doing certain things on a fire scene, they're very limited to what they can do. So I guess we'll just jump right into our first question is, can junior firefighters run calls? Now, that all just depends. I'll give an example. At my department, I had joined whenever I was 16 years old. Our rule on running calls was you had to have parent consent and you had to complete your required training for the fire service. And with that being said, that was your Fire 1, and your Fire 1 includes basic first aid CPR, your live burn, auto extrication, and the actual Fire 1 test itself. Then we had to complete Fire 2 and Hazmat Ops. I went overachieved and also completed my EVOC, but that was not required for the junior division. So after I was able to complete all of my classes, which took roughly about a year to do so, I was then able to start running calls after the department's higher-ups felt comfortable in my capabilities of being able to assist them on scenes. I was then permitted a radio with a unit number, and I was fitted for my own bunker gear. So moving on to question number 2 is, can girls join the junior division? So this is actually a very touchy subject. Some other departments are more lenient about this than others. I know in our written protocols it says that we have to have at least 2 full-time, when I say full-time, 2 over the age of 18-year-old females on my department in order to have a junior female firefighter, and that prevents just any type of liability out there. Something big we don't like to talk about because it can be kind of scary, kind of throw out there in the public, but that's why we don't have any junior female firefighters. We've had girls come up and express interest, younger girls who were 16, 17, but we had to kind of push them away and say, well, because we don't have any full-time firefighters that are female over the age of 18, if you're still interested when you're 18, please do come back and we'll talk about some more, but until then we can't legally do anything about it. Moving on to question number 3 is, can I drive fire trucks? So this is also a pretty touchy subject, and this also just comes down to whatever your department's insurance says. So you guys probably noticed that I do move our equipment around the station, but it's because it's on private property. I can't take any of our apparatus out besides our side-by-side. I can't take them anywhere, like on the main streets or anything. Just because, if our rules here is you got to be 21 to drive any of the equipment besides the side-by-side, and that's just because of liability. The insurance is lower at that because it's 21, I'm sure, and we just don't want to risk, a younger guy with less driving experience drive a 19-ton truck, go out and put, his life and the crew's and the general public's life in danger because he doesn't have much driving experience. Even though I have completed the emergency vehicle operation course, it's just a rule. We have a certain list of check marks that, in order to drive our apparatus, that each firefighter has to go through, but we're not going to get into that because that doesn't refrain from junior firefighting. So, next question. Question number 4 is, can I have red lights in my personal vehicle if I'm a junior firefighter? So, this is definitely one of them ask your higher-ups questions, because I know it definitely will vary. Your department's more linear on it, then hey, go you. I know that I was definitely not allowed to have lights in my vehicle until I was 18 and I had passed all my tests. Some people, like I said, might be more lenient on it, but it's definitely it can be very risky. And the reason why I can drive my own personal vehicle at the age of 19 with red lights and audible warning equipment is because I am under my own insurance policy. So if I would go out and I would wreck my vehicle, then it wouldn't affect the fire department's insurance whatsoever. It would all come back on me because I'm the one paying for it, and so the department's not liable for whatever happens to it. So that's why. So next question. So question number 5 is, what can I do on a fire scene? So whenever I had completed all my classes, I started around the age of 16 was whenever I joined the department, and I started my training around there also. I didn't complete it till about 2 or 3 months after I had turned 17, and I was then permitted to run fire calls. I was very limited to what I could do on fire scenes. The way I was described it as was, I am basically an observer, or I was an observer. Ride along type deal. So whenever it comes down to like actually doing stuff, it just depends who you're with, but you're not supposed to be doing a whole lot just because of that liability level. So if you would be doing something like traffic control or anything like that, then you're supposed to have another person there with you who has all of his or her certifications, supposed to be observing you do such. But whenever it came to more like actual fire ground operations, like a actual structure fire or something like that, we were used a lot during mop-up because the lower guys, they got tired real fast, and they would wear out, and they would say, hey, I mean, you can use a shovel and broom and go to town, go clean up. We were also used a lot for equipment fetching, because whenever they're actually sitting there fighting fire and we were all just kind of standing back, they would say, hey, you're standing there, I need you to go get this off this truck, or anything like that. So we were very useful when it came to that. We were also good for safety officers' point of views, like making sure everyone's kind of doing what they're supposed to, keeping everyone hydrated, and just stuff like that. So, and the final question number 6 is, can I leave school to make a fire run? So, bottom line of this is no. I was not allowed to. I don't think you should be allowed to, but here's the catch to that. I turned 18 about 3/4 the way of my senior year at my local high school, and I was then a full member of my department. I was eligible to do whatever any other member needed to do. run lights, make entries into burning buildings. You know, I was a legit firefighter, not a junior anymore. So in the state of West Virginia, you're considered to be an adult at the age of 18. So, you know, you have a lot more freedom when it comes to that. And for anyone who has already graduated high school, they know that probably about halfway or 3/4 the way through your senior year is more lenient, laid back, kind of do whatever you want, working yourself to that graduation day. So there were times when the tones did drop that I did check myself out of my classes at my school to make a fire run, but it depended on three things. One, what I was doing in that class. Two, the severity of the call, you know, what it was. And three, what our manpower situation was looking like that day. If I knew that we were going to be pretty scarce on manpower because it's in the middle of the workday, you know, other people were working, you know, then the odds are if it was a severe call, then I probably would check myself out after I had already turned 18 and was legally an adult. So that's just part of that making your own decisions as an adult. That's that privilege you kind of get when you turn older. But I only did that a handful of times because we don't typically run that many calls, thankfully. But yeah, so it just depends. Kind of going along with that was, can I leave practice to make a fire run? And so here's what I'll say to that too. I'd only played one sport in my whole entire high school career. I joined a wrestling team halfway through the season, my senior year, and that's when I started all my weight loss, stuff like that, for the people who know me personally. They know what I've gone through and everything. And there were like 2 or 3 times when the tones would drop during wrestling practice, I would leave, but the coach, you know, knew what I did. You know, he was very supportive of it, and I wasn't actually there to, I guess, wrestle. I was there for my own benefit, you know, work out with the guys and stuff like that. So the coach would permit me to leave to make a fire run, but I doubt that any other like sport would let a junior do so. So I hope this answers a lot of your questions. If you have any other questions, please feel free to comment down below. I will get back to you, whether I got an answer for them or 2 different things, but I will try my hardest. So I appreciate you guys watching. Don't forget to mask up if you're an essential worker. Thank you for what you're doing. We all love you. And don't forget, just stay safe, guys. See you later.